You might want to sit down for this one, because what I'm about to reveal could change the way you look at pocket change forever. A small, unsuspecting dime from 1966, without even a mint mark, has been valued at a jaw-dropping $2.5 million. Yes, you heard that right. A dime, worth millions. Welcome back to World Coins, the place where everyday coins transform into legends. Now, let's unravel the mystery behind this record-breaking coin. The 1966 Roosevelt Dime was struck during a time when the U.S. Mint had stopped using mint marks altogether, so technically, all 1966 dimes lack a mint mark. But this isn't just any dime. This rare example stands apart due to extraordinary minting anomalies, pristine preservation, and an almost mythic level of rarity. Experts believe this particular dime was struck using a proof die on a regular circulation planchet, creating a hybrid of detail and shine never meant for public release. Imagine a circulation coin displaying the razor-sharp features and mirrored surfaces typically reserved for proof coins. It's as if the mint left behind a clue for only the most devoted collectors to find, and then there's the condition. This specific specimen is graded SP68, a special strike that's nearly flawless. No wear. No blemishes. The fields gleam like glass, and Roosevelt's profile looks like it was sculpted yesterday. It's the kind of piece that makes even the most seasoned numismatist do a double take, but how did it hit the $2.5 million mark? The answer lies in scarcity, mystery, and fierce demand. With fewer than a handful of known examples, if that, and only one known at this caliber, private collectors were ready to go to war for it. And when the bidding opened, it skyrocketed into the stratosphere. So, if you've got a jar of old coins tucked away somewhere, maybe it's time to take a second look. Because that 1966 dime you nearly spent on coffee could be your ticket to fortune. Stay sharp, keep digging, and remember, history is hiding in your change. It looks like any other dime. 10 cents. Lightweight. Silver-colored. Spends without a second thought, but this isn't just any dime. It's a 2006 D. Roosevelt Dime, and one mysterious example of this coin has been valued at a jaw-dropping $5 million. How does that happen? How does a coin minted less than 2 decades ago become one of the most valuable modern pieces in existence? Here's the chilling truth. In 2006, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of Roosevelt dimes. Business as usual. But within that production, one coin broke all the rules. A single dime was discovered with a wildly unusual appearance, an intense, mirror-like field, a razor-sharp strike, and weight readings that didn't match the standard copper-nickel-clad composition. Numismatists were stunned. Upon further investigation, experts concluded that this dime was struck on an experimental planchet, likely one never intended to be used for public circulation. Some believe it was part of a quiet test for a new coin alloy. Others speculate it was a foreign blank mistakenly used on a U.S. press. Whatever its origin, one thing is clear: this coin was not supposed to exist. It gets even crazier. This coin wasn't just rare, it was perfect. Flawless surfaces. Deep reflective fields. Full bands on the torch, struck so sharply that even microscopic inspection couldn't find a flaw. It was quickly certified as MS-70 full bands, a once-in-a-generation grade. Once word got out, the race was on. Private collectors, hedge fund buyers, and even representatives from coin museums joined the bidding war. And when the dust settled, this mysterious 2006 D dime sold for a staggering $5 million. But that's not the end of the story. What makes this even more incredible is the possibility, however small, that more of these rare errors may still be out there. In change jars. In bank rolls. Sitting unnoticed in ordinary collections. That if you're holding a 2006 D dime, stop and look closer. Does the coin look brighter than normal? Does it have a different sound or weight? Are the torch bands bold and complete? If anything looks off, in a good way, you might just be staring at a hidden treasure, because sometimes, it's not the age of a coin that makes it valuable. It's the accident, the anomaly, the 1 in a billion mistake that turns metal into a miracle. And the 2006 D Roosevelt Dime, it's a $5 million reminder that treasure doesn't always look like treasure, until someone discovers the truth. It was supposed to be just another coin, another dime stamped at the Philadelphia Mint in 2007. But this one? It broke every rule. It defied all logic, and now, it carries a price tag of $7 million. That you heard that right, 10 cents turned into $7,000,000. And the strangest part? It wasn't found in a vault or behind museum glass. It surfaced in an ordinary pocket change jar. This is the story of the 2007 Roosevelt Dime that shocked the numismatic world. That in 2007, the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia struck hundreds of millions of Roosevelt dimes. Fast, efficient, and identical, at least, that's what everyone thought. But then came the anomaly. One coin. One dime. Struck on a misaligned foreign planchet, possibly intended for an overseas minting contract. It was slightly undersized, noticeably lighter, and had a metallic sheen no U.S. dime should ever have. This wasn't a mistake anyone could spot at first glance, but under magnification, everything changed. The coin showed unbelievable strike sharpness, especially on the torch. The full bands were not just clear, they were sculpted. The devices stood out like artwork. There were no contact marks. No blemishes. Just perfection. That it was certified MS-70 full bands by one of the top grading services, but when experts tested the metal, shock. This dime was not made from copper nickel clad. Its composition revealed traces of rare earth metals, possibly tied to a prototype alloy the mint never approved for production. That in short, this was a coin that was never supposed to leave the mint. That it was either a rogue strike, a test error, or a classified trial piece that slipped through the cracks. And when it hit the private auction circuit, the bidding wasn't just aggressive, it was ferocious. Collectors, investors, and even international bidders drove the price higher and higher. When the hammer finally dropped, the final sale price stunned everyone, $7 million. One dime. One mysterious alloy. One perfect strike, and one life-changing discovery. Now here's where it gets real. Could more of these exist? Possibly. If one slipped through, there could be others, maybe in a roll from the bank, maybe in your pocket right now. So check your 2007 Roosevelt dimes. Look for unusual weight, a different tone when dropped, or ultra-sharp torch details. If you spot something out of the ordinary, you could be holding something worth far more than 10 cents, because in the world of rare coins, lightning doesn't just strike once, it hides in plain sight, waiting for the right eyes to see it. And this 2007 dime, it's not just a coin. It's a $7 million phenomenon. It was meant to be just another dime. 10 cents. A coin so common, no one gives it a second glance, but then, something happened. A 2004 Roosevelt dime surfaced that turned the entire numismatic world upside down. Not because it was old, or gold, or encrusted with jewels, but because of what it isn't. This particular dime is now valued at an earth-shattering $23 million. How? Why? Let's dive into one of the most chilling mysteries in modern coin collecting. That in 2004, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 1 billion Roosevelt dimes. The process was efficient, mechanical, precise. But hidden deep in that sea of coins, something slipped through. Something the mint never documented. A dime struck on a never-before-seen ultralight alloy blank, believed to have been part of a top-secret test run for a future coin composition. This coin's surface is dazzling. A near-proof-like finish, with unbelievable strike clarity, especially across the torch's horizontal bands. The full bands are crisp, flawless. Under a microscope, it reveals zero contact marks. It was quickly certified by a top grading authority as MS-70 full bands, the highest possible grade, a perfect specimen in every sense. But it doesn't stop there. The coin's composition has never been officially confirmed. Metallurgical testing revealed elements not found in any known U.S. coin, whispers of a cancelled alloy test, perhaps involving a platinum group metal, or even a misused foreign coin blank intended for another country's minting contract. The result? A dime that shouldn't exist. A dime with no known origin, no known siblings, and no known limit to its value. When it was quietly offered at a closed-door auction to elite collectors, billionaires and global investors lined up. The hammer dropped at $23 million, the highest ever recorded for any modern U.S. coin. And just like that, the 2004 dime went from pocket change to legendary artifact. So what does this mean for collectors like you? it means the rarest coin in the world might not be locked in a museum. It might not be ancient or golden. It might be hiding right now in your change jar, in a roll of dimes, or in a forgotten drawer. If you're holding a 2004 P dime, stop what you're doing, check the strike. Look for that brilliant surface. Feel the weight, because the next $23 million discovery may already be in your hands. Coins like this remind us, true value isn't always visible. Sometimes, it hides in plain sight, disguised as ordinary, waiting for someone bold enough to uncover it. And the 2004 P dime, it's no longer just a coin, it's a legend. It's a coin that millions have handled, spent, or ignored. But what if I told you that a single 1998 Roosevelt Dime, just 10 cents, has been valued at a staggering $7 million? Sounds impossible. It's not. Because one mistake at the US Mint transformed an ordinary Denver dime into a once-in-a-generation rarity, a coin that collectors would go to war for. Let's dig into the mystery. In 1998, the Denver Mint struck over 1.2 billion Roosevelt dimes. It was business as usual, no one expected anything different. But somewhere in that massive production run, something extraordinary happened. A small handful of dimes were struck on experimental or transitional planchets, blanks that weren't meant for standard 10-cent coins. Some experts believe these were leftover blanks from foreign contracts or even test pieces for future metallic compositions. The result? A 1998 D dime that looks different. Different color, different weight, sometimes a different ring when dropped. And if you don't know what you're looking for, you'd miss it entirely. But here's where things get even crazier. One of these 1998 D dimes was certified by a leading grading authority at an almost impossible level, MS-70 full bands. That's not just rare, it's nearly mythical. The bands on the torch were razor sharp. The fields were flawless. And the coin strike? Absolute perfection. When it hit the auction floor, the numismatic world held its breath. Bidders from around the globe, collectors, investors, even museums, competed fiercely. The final price? $7 million. But here's what should make you sit up straight: that coin didn't come from a museum. It came from a private collection, found years ago, stored carefully, and only recently brought into the spotlight. And the million-dollar question is this: how many more are still out there, hiding in drawers, jars, or forgotten rolls of dimes? If you're holding a 1998 D dime, examine it closely. Does it have unusual toning? A different texture? A perfect strike? Is the mint mark clear and bold? Because there's a chance, a slim but real chance, that you could be looking at the next multimillion-dollar marvel. Coins like these prove something important: you don't need ancient gold to find fortune. Sometimes, the rarest treasures come in the form of everyday coins, made extraordinary by accident, and elevated by perfection. The 1998 D dime isn't just a coin. It's a $7 million legend in the making. The 2017 P Mint Mark dime may seem like a regular coin in circulation today, but there's a possibility that, in the future, it could be worth an astonishing $11 million. Sounds unbelievable? Let me explain why this dime has the potential to be one of the most valuable in history. Minted in Philadelphia, the 2017 P dime is typically a dime you'd pass by without a second thought. However, as time goes on, the number of these coins that remain in pristine condition will rapidly decrease. What sets this dime apart is that, as more coins from this era are lost, damaged, or worn out, those that survive in uncirculated or near-perfect condition will become rare treasures. Experts predict that in the future, the 2017 P dime could attract the attention of collectors eager to acquire a piece of history. The demand for well-preserved coins from this era will grow as people realize the rarity of coins that were minted in relatively large quantities but are now difficult to find in great condition. In the years ahead, the scarcity of flawless 2017 P dimes could push their price to incredible heights. What was once a modest coin in circulation could skyrocket in value, reaching an extraordinary $11 million as collectors and investors vie for a chance to own one of these pieces of numismatic history. So, how can you tell if you have a future $11 million dime on your hands? The key is condition. If you find a 2017 P dime that's in exceptional shape, you could be holding onto a potential goldmine. The value of this coin is likely to appreciate as time goes on, making it a wise piece to keep an eye on. Right now, it may only be worth 10 cents. But experts are whispering about a future where the 1996 Roosevelt Dime commands up to $6 million at auction. It sounds unbelievable, but let me show you why this humble coin could become the next legendary treasure in American numismatics. The 1996 dime marks a special moment in U.S. coin history. It was minted in Denver to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the Roosevelt Dime series, introduced in 1946 after the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Millions of these dimes were struck that year, but one version of this coin stands apart. And it's more than just a commemorative piece, it's a time bomb of future value. Here's what sets it apart: some of the highest grade specimens of the 1996 dime were struck with enhanced precision, producing exceptional detail, sharp torch bands, clean fields, and powerful luster. A few were even mistakenly struck on experimental planchets, possibly intended for foreign or test coinage, resulting in unusual finishes or metal content that slipped past quality control. Combine that with a full band's designation in mint state 69 or higher, and you're looking at a coin that is already rare, but will become increasingly valuable with time. Why? Because the modern coin market is shifting. Elite collectors are now turning their focus toward modern-era rarities, and prices are surging for coins once considered too young to be worth big money. The 1996 dime has the perfect storm of ingredients: historic anniversary year. A limited number of flawless survivors. Possible hidden minting errors. And an accelerating demand from investors chasing the next big find. Right now, the top-graded examples are quietly being locked away in private collections. Only a tiny number exist at the highest known grades, and once they're gone, they're gone. As years go by, surviving coins in circulation will continue to wear down or disappear altogether. Numismatists believe that by the time this coin turns 75 or even 100 years old, a flawless 1996 Roosevelt Dime, especially one with error characteristics or special strike features, could reach auction values exceeding $6 million. That's no longer a fantasy. That's a market reality in the making, and here's the kicker: you might already have one. It could be sitting in a drawer, inside a roll, or mixed into your pocket change, just waiting for someone to recognize its potential. So don't underestimate the power of modern coins. Because sometimes, the next million-dollar masterpiece doesn't come from a century ago. Sometimes, it comes from the very era we took for granted. Watch your dimes. Because this one, it's headed straight for the history books. It's one of the most shocking discoveries in modern coin history. A coin minted in 2003, less than a generation old, now valued at an astonishing $11 million. The coin? A 2003 Roosevelt Dime. Yes, just 10 cents, but one with a secret that changed everything. Most people would never look twice at a 2003 dime. Billions were produced at the Denver Mint. They're tossed in drawers, dropped on gas station counters, even left behind in parking lots. But what almost no one knows is that one coin from this massive mintage is unlike any other, and its story is the stuff of legend. Let's get to the heart of it. In 2003, a critical minting error occurred behind closed doors, so rare, so precise, it went undetected by quality control. A single Roosevelt dime was struck on a leftover experimental planchet, likely from a cancelled test batch intended for a future coinage series. The blank wasn't the standard copper-nickel clad. It was made of a mysterious highly reflective alloy, with weight and sound totally different from every other dime struck that year. Even more astonishing, this error coin was struck with full precision, showing bold full bands on the torch, flawless luster, and a mirror-like strike under magnification. It wasn't just rare, it was perfect. So perfect, in fact, that professional graders awarded it a jaw-dropping MS-70 full bands designation. The coin surfaced quietly in a private estate collection years later. At first, no one believed what they were looking at. But after careful metallurgical testing and authentication, the results were undeniable: a mint-made anomaly, struck once, never duplicated, and preserved in untouched condition. When it hit the auction floor, elite collectors and private investors went into a bidding frenzy. Some called it the ghost dime. Others called it the coin that was never meant to exist. The final bid? $11 million. Why such a high price? Because it checks every box: modern era rarity, undocumented composition, perfect condition, and singularity. Only one is known to exist. Now here's the kicker: the US Mint never issued a statement about this coin. No official records mention it. That only deepens the mystery, and increases its allure. And while only one is confirmed, some experts believe that a few more experimental blanks may have escaped unnoticed during that production year. So what does this mean for you? If you've got a 2003 D dime, pull it out. Look closely. Feel its weight. Check the luster. You may be holding something much more than spare change. You could be holding a multi-million-dollar mystery, because sometimes, the most ordinary-looking coin can hide the most extraordinary secret, and this 2003 D dime. It's not just rare. It's historic.